Good morning and good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another show on the Sports Music and Live podcast. Today I'm going to be covering the fight between Nathaniel Collins and versus Lorente from Spain. Didn't catch his first name, sorry. Unfortunately, I didn't watch the whole of the undercards. I only watched the main event on this one as I was watching Chelsea get that great result against Liverpool on the evening. I'd like to start too by also correcting a mistake that I made, and that was I said, I believe it was the Crocker versus Donovan when I said now Britain has their first world champion, because I thought we didn't have any world champions, and I can't believe how stupid I was, really. I forgot about Nick Ball being a champion, so I do apologise for that mistake. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot about Nick Ball being a world champion. He was our only world champion, but now obviously we've got two. Nathaniel Collins was looking to become a world champion and carry the flag for Scotland. I won't say too much now. For those who didn't watch the fight, you might want to switch off and go and watch the fight before this, because obviously at the end I'll be giving the result and what I thought about the result. And yeah, so as usual, I'll go through my notes round by round. Excuse me if they're a bit all over the place. Like I say before, I quickly jot them down while the fight is on. If I get time to go over them, I will, but a lot of the time I don't. So, so Collins coming from Scotland, like I said. Lorente from Spain. Lorente was the European featherweight champion, so this was fighting at featherweight for the featherweight title, and the WBC Eliminator too. Collins being the WBC Silver Champion. Collins, he brings some power from the last few fights that I've seen that's got him out of a bit of trouble, or he's finished his opponents very early. Also, I noticed how good his boxing skills was in this fight, and this was a new phase of me watching him. Phase of what I'm trying to say is it was something I didn't know he had in his bag. I thought he was just a big puncher, but it turns out he's got quite a good boxing ability, as you'll see as I go through the notes. So, round one, Collins comes out. This was a fast start from Collins. He comes out, he gets behind a jab. He did slip in the first half of the fight. It wasn't a knockdown. Collins was on the front foot in the first fight. He was really taking it to Lorente. Lorente having a tiny bit of success at the round, but it was more Collins in this round, and Collins was bringing combinations and lots. He was trying to put it on him. I think he was trying to take him out and get the job done. Like they say many times in boxing, you do not get paid for overtime. So going into round two, so it was a slower first start. This is quite a pattern through the fight. So the first half of the fight, not much was happening. You sort of see us having a bit of a look at each other. Lorente wasn't really throwing at this stage of the fight. It was a bit later on into the fight that Lorente come into it, and they were saying on the commentary that he is a slow starter, and you could see that. So, and then finally in the second half of the round, both fighters were making each other's miss. So Lorente's defensive skill was a bit more better, but Colin had the more success, and he was starting to do what he'd done in the first round, and he was putting it on him, putting it on Lorente. So going into round three, again both fighters making each other miss. Halfway through the round, Collins again gets to Lorente. Collins lands some lovely shots when he does get to Lorente. Some thudding shots were going in, and Lorente was taking them very well. He's very heavy-handed, Collins. Lorente not getting hurt, but by the shots. Lorente does have some success again at the end of the round. I had Collins going 3-up at this point. Round four, let's get into this one. Good start to the round. Best start from Lorente. Gets Collins again. Gets to Collins, sorry. Again, Collins lands a lovely uppercut in return. Lorente starting to get on the front foot. So Lorente was starting to get his work off now and get to Collins a bit. But what I found through most of the fight, Collins was making him a lot more miss than what making Lorente miss a lot more than what Lorente was making Collins miss. Again, I've put down in my notes here, although Lorente had some success, and it's probably the most success he had in the fight, if I remember rightly. It might have been a bit later on in the rounds that I wrote this down, but going back on memory, this is when Lorente started to come into the fight a bit more, but wasn't doing enough for me. Collins was landing more punches. Going into round 5 now. Great start from Collins. Much the same, landing lovely combinations and working off the jab. Lorente again having a little success. So Lorente, yes, I remember now. So Lorente slipped back into what he was doing in the earlier round. So, you know, round 4 is a round 4 that he looked lively, and then it slipped back to him not doing it. A little success. So, right, going into round 6 now. Both fighters having a bit of an exchange. Collins and looks as though he hurts Lorente, but Lorente comes firing back in this round. This is the round. This was the best round of the fight for me. Lorente come back and he fought fire with fire. He showed that grit and that determination, and he really went at him, at Collins. Fire comes back with some lovely. Lorente Fire comes back with some lovely shots, like I've already said himself. What a war, best one. So blah blah blah. Said that. Looks like that could have took a lot out of Collins in that, in energy wise, that round. He really put it in that round, trying to take him out, being the finisher and the killer that he is. Collins went for it on that one. So round 7, as you can think, was a quieter round compared to the last round. A few rounds, both fighters seemed to be having a bit of a breather and trying to recruit the energy levels. After all that, after the round, still Collins is winning this fight. I believe I gave round 6 as a draw. Lorente could have nicked it. It could have gone either way, that round for me. But this is where I gave Lorente his first round. Hold on. Lorente's first round in the bag for him. Although Collins did have success, but Lorente was the better fighter and landing the better shots in round 8. This was. And the commentators were starting to think Collins was struggling a bit. You know, I'm not a professional boxer. I've never done it. I've done a bit of amateur boxing. I know a little bit about it, but as a fact, when I do these podcasts, I do it as a fan and what I see. And I think if you're not landing the shots, then I can't see how you're not winning the fight. But judges and the pros, they see it different. They know the game inside out, don't they? But as fans, I think, you know, we're all entitled to our opinions, and this podcast is my opinions and my thoughts and how I felt the fights go. So going into round 9, Collins makes Lorente miss a lot, but the last minute they got into a toe-to-toe. Another round for Collins, landing and made Lorente miss a lot until the last minute. So the last minute Lorente got to Collins a bit more and put it on him. For me, Lorente wasn't just doing enough. He could have won some round, a couple of rounds here and there, but for me, he wasn't doing enough to win this fight. Round 10 we're going into now. I thought Lorente lost the last round, but this one he did win. Collins looking tired and starting to feel it now. So yes, the Collins are tired off a bit. He gave a round away, so there was a few rounds Lorente could have won or did win. I gave him a couple on a draw, but it could have been another. You know, he could have won. It all depends how you see it, but this is how I was seeing it. Like I said before. So we're going to go into round 11. Lorente on the front foot, which has been from the 5th. So Lorente was starting to get on the front foot from the 5th, but still I thought Collins was making him miss a lot. But yeah, and Collins back to doing what he was doing best, making Lorente miss and landing his shots. Lorente catching Collins in the last 30 seconds of the round, so he got a good shot in. And I don't think Collins was never hurt or any in trouble. It was probably more a bit the tiredness from him that was doing it. And so going into round 12, the 12 started off the same as the 11th, and it finished like it was going to be. It finished like a toe-to-toe, like they have at times. So at times in the round 12, they had another toe-to-toe. They put everything on the line. They both went for it. They both wanted it. And now I'm going to get to the result, which I think was quite a disgusting result, really. That might be a bit too brutal, but that's how I felt. It was a draw, but for me, Collins won that, and I can't see how that was a draw or a split. I just didn't see Lorente do enough or land enough to win that fight, and that was my opinion on that. Definitely think they should have a rematch, and I think Collins wins that rematch if he learns to reserve his tank. And I think this time that he's not got he could still have the power, but what I'm trying to say is that he might box it a bit more smarter and use his boxing ability and land the shots better and not waste energy, or get a better tank in him. Now he that's probably the first 12 rounds he's done in a few fights, I believe. He did come back from a serious injury too. They were saying on the commentary he had a twisted bout at the end of one fight and was told he's never going to box again. And he was doing ultra marathons, and then he come back, and now he's fighting again. So he's probably rebuilding that tank up fighting fitness, as they say. So that was my thoughts on the Collins versus Lorente fight. It was a great fight. Love to see it again, and I do think Collins does in the second fight, and hopefully he'll go on to be a world champion. So so thank you for listening to another show on the Sports Music and Life podcast. Appreciate all the listeners. Like I say, all that usual crap. Give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're first time listening to get the channel boosting. And thank you, like I say, thank you again for taking the time to listen. And I'll be bringing you another show shortly. Thank you very much.